Hello there. What is going on, everyone? Today we're going to be talking about the card packs that are coming to BWing. So BWing is finally getting card packs. They were first announced for Legion, that Legion was going to get some card packs so people wouldn't have to buy across faction, and they had hinted at Adepticon that they were thinking about doing them for other games as well. And we finally see how they're doing them for BWing, and they're taking a different approach here. They're not just doing one card pack, but they're doing 3 card packs, and they're keeping them kind of cheap. You've got Never Tell Me the Odds and Fully Loaded, which are each going to be about 15 bucks, and then Hot Shots and Aces, which is going to be about $20. So nice that they're kind of separating them so you don't have to end up spending like 60 bucks to get everything. And you can kind of pick what you want, and we're going to kind of go through these, and they do look kind of cool, and it's interesting stuff. I think there's different things in these packs that are going to appeal to different people. Not everybody is going to want to get every pack. I think Hot Shots and Aces is the one that people will probably want to get most of all. But overall, it's a kind of a cool thing they have going on here. And the idea here is for people who are maybe new to the game that don't want to, that maybe they want a certain upgrade or they want this or that, and that didn't come in here, and oh, I don't have that, and I didn't come over from a 1.0, I don't have all this stuff. And it's a way to get people caught up. It's a way for people to get extra versions of things that they have. You're going to be able to get some upgrades. You're going to be able to get some upgrades that were only found in like maybe one faction. You're going to be able to get new bombs. You're going to be able to get obstacles, all of that. So, and there's a couple of new things and kind of bonuses. Even if you got everything, there's still maybe something for you here. So let's talk about Never Tell Me the Odds. This one is basically all of your asteroids, your debris clouds, all of those obstacles. You're going to get all of those in this pack, every single obstacle, which is, honestly, is kind of cool because, and I hope they sell damage decks at some point also, because it really stinks when you lose like something that came from the core set, like just one thing that maybe isn't available anywhere. Like if you lose a die, you can get a die pack, right? If you need a maneuver tool now or whatever, you can get that whole deluxe movement tool kit or any of the third party tokens and things like that. But for obstacles, you really can't replace the core set obstacles. Now, a core set isn't super expensive, but it's one of those things that it's just nice to see more things that come in the core set and more things that come in various different, sets, because like some of the obstacles are, only available in one ship. Some are only available in another ship. Maybe you don't want to play Clone Wars, but the Clone Wars come with the new gas clouds and all that stuff. So, whatever you were looking for, if you didn't want to buy across the aisle, if you're not buying 100% of every ship for BWing, then this is a great way for you to get caught up and get all of the obstacles. Additionally, it's also going to come with these cool scenario cards, and the scenarios are new ways for you to use these obstacles and really take advantage of them. Now, the scenarios are going to be a really fun way to just, play a normal, fun BWing game against somebody else with a twist. And it almost reminds me a little bit of like how Armada has their objectives. You're going to have a little bit of a different thing going on here. So like that's pretty cool. So like one example they could give us here is Asteroid Shower. Now this one, it's telling you what objectives you're going to use, which obstacles rather you're going to use. You can use all 9 asteroids. And normally, each player brings only 3 obstacles, so you're going to have 3 additional obstacles. But in this particular type of scenario, you're only going to place 3 of them at the beginning, and then you set all the other 6 aside. And every round you're going to alternate. Another one is going to come into play, and so it's an asteroid shower. More and more asteroids keep falling into the play area. So that's a pretty fun way to do it. And it'd be really cool to see more of these and see how they're all going to work. And maybe, if you're going to play one of these scenarios, maybe it becomes a random thing. Maybe you just shuffle them, and so you you don't know what you're going to, be facing. And that kind of adds a little bit of challenge to, a casual game of BWing that you might not have had before. I don't expect to see these being mandatory in tournaments or anything like that, because it is more of an optional thing. But you could even do special events where like, hey, it's casual play day, but we're doing all scenario games. So you'll flip over a random scenario card, and that's how you'll play. So bring a list that can handle anything. That could be fun, and it could breathe some new life into the game. And this is kind of kind of fits into with their epic battles, how the epic battles are going to be scenario based too. So we're seeing a lot more scenario play for X-Wing, and I think there's a lot of fun to be had with that. Looking at some of the other stuff that we're going to be getting in the pack as well, while we are getting all obstacles, we're also getting other things like the spare parts canister and rigged cargo chute as well, so you'll be able to get your tokens for those as well as the cards that come for those. And then we kind of get a small preview of 2 other scenarios that are going to be here. We're going to see recent wreckage, which is going to have you using 6 debris clouds and 3 gas clouds. And then you also have clouds on 36 deposits, which I believe that is almost taken straight out of Thrawn Treason. And I won't spoil any of that book for you, but that is a gas that is mentioned multiple times in that book. So it's kind of cool seeing them reference new canon entries, although I'm willing to bet Clouzon 36 has been mentioned in other places. It's just the most recent that I have read about it was in the most recent Timothy Zahn book. And so here is just a list of everything that will come in here. So if you go to like FFG's product page, it's going to tell you everything that comes in the pack, which is very nice, so we don't have to stay guessing as much. So, you know, you're going to get all of the upgrades, or rather all of the objectives, some upgrades that go with them, some 6 different environment cards. So they're not actually calling them scenarios, they're calling them environment cards, but they're basically playing like a scenario, and then you're going to get some strain and standard charges. Now, fully loaded, similar to how our last pack was giving you all of the different obstacles, fully loaded is giving you all the devices. All of the devices, so all of your bombs and mines, all of that stuff. And I think that's kind of cool because honestly, like there are a lot of times in 1.0 where I was like, oh, I want to spam cluster mines, but oh, I don't have enough cluster mines. Oh, I don't have you know. And speaking of cluster mines are going to be in here, which is really cool. So you're going to be able to see cluster mines and ion bombs. So they're going to be showing up. And on top of that, you're going to also have more scenario type cards here that are going to make special use of all these mines. So we have Minefield here. You're going to start with 4 obstacles, but you're also going to start with some devices: a cluster mine set, a Connor net, and 2 proximity mines. And then, you know, you're gonna place those, and you know, like it's kind of cool, like starting with devices already in play, and you know, it's kind of making use of all those devices and giving you new things to do with them if you don't want to just strictly run, if you don't want to strictly run bombers and you know, ships that can launch bombs and launch devices. You know, this is a new way for you to play with them. So I think that's kind of fun, and I think there's something to be said for that. I don't see myself playing a whole lot of like scenario type play, but I do think it's pretty cool. We're also getting some cards that reference them. We're getting a lot of our tokens that go with this, and if you do really like to run like a heavy Connor net swarm or something like that, you know, and you don't have enough ConnorNet tokens, this is a great way for you to get some extras, you know, without having to go out and buy the whole ship, because this is another $14.95 pack. Also getting Countdown that has an Electro Proton Bomb on it, and each player gains 3 timers. That's our little yellow token in the middle there. And we've got some Unexploded Ordnance, which is kind of cool, which is our other scenario back up there. And here's everything that comes in this pack. We're getting you know, only 1 Connor net, only 1 cluster mine set, which is like, oh, you know, they're gonna want you to buy multiples of these, I'm sure. But you know, we'll see. I'm sure some of the new stuff will come in other boxes as well, and with other expansions. We're getting an Electro Proton Bomb in case you didn't already have one of those. Those were only with the Droid Bomber. So, you know, if you're not playing Clone Wars, not playing Separatists, you might not have had access to it. So, like, again, that's kind of one of the themes here. If you're only a 1 faction, this is a great way for you to get a lot of stuff that might have been off limits to you. And if you do play all factions and you wanted extras of something, here's a great way for you to get all of these cards and tokens and then the different environment cards. Again, they call them environments. To me, they're scenarios, but that's still cool. Now, Hotshots and Aces, this is the one that's kind of a big deal. This one, surprisingly enough, it only has new pilots for the 5 factions. Well, that might not be that much of a surprise. You know, the Clone Wars factions are still new. We probably don't need as much for them. But I am surprised that we only got pilots for a smaller selection of ships. I was kind of expecting a new pilot for at least every ship in the game, and that's not what they did. But I think it's one of those things where they had to lean towards balance, because the Rebels have so many more ships than, say, the First Order or the Resistance right now. If they gave every ship a new pilot, then the First Order and Resistance would have been like, well, we only got like 4 or 5 new pilots, whereas the Rebels got like 15. So I can understand some of the reason for that. I'm not, my numbers might be off. Somebody's gonna be like, actually the number was 16 or something like that. I might be slightly off there. But one of them is gonna be K2SO in the U-Wing. He has Calculate and instead of Focus, and after you gain a stress token, gain a Calculate token, which will work pretty well with his Coordinate, with being a red action, so he can coordinate and also calculate. It seems like a pretty solid pilot with Initiative 3. But what I really love is his flavor text right here. Cassian said I had to. It's just, alright, I'm not, like, X-Wing has not been, like, super funny with the flavor text. They've had some that were pretty good, but most of them are pretty standard. This one is pure gold. Pure gold. I absolutely love that. And you can see we get a couple more of these, and we're getting quick builds too, which is very interesting. So like for our BWing, we can see on the top left, we're getting Gina Moonsong. Now we don't get a preview of the Gina Moonsong card, so we don't know what her pilot ability is going to be, or what I'm guessing she'll be kind of a lower pilot, lower initiative, considering she's only a threat level of 3 in this particular. Like, she's the same threat level as a generic. But then again, maybe I'm wrong. But one of the cool things is, if you look at the quick build, you can see that both the Blade Squadron veteran and Gina Moonsong's quick build versions have stabilized S-foils. So the B-Wings are getting S-foil config cards, which is really cool. And that was like one of those things where people were like, well, why did they make the B-Wings S-foils move? I thought they just did it. I mean, I'm a big B-Wing fan, so this is a big deal for me. But I thought they basically just did it to be cool, because, like, hey, look, the S-foils do move, and if we're redesigning the B-Wing, let's redesign it really cool. And so now there's going to be a purpose to move those S-foils, because there's going to be, there's going to be S-foils for it. So that's cool. And as far as, I don't know what her ability will do, but I'm guessing it might have something to do with a crit, because they give her auto blasters in her in Gina Moonsong's quick build card, and that one is going to, to basically say that evades can't cancel a crit. So if you're trying to, guarantee a critical damage, maybe she, like, if she deals a critical, she gets to do something. I might be totally wrong about that. The quick builds, sometimes are great, or sometimes they're less great. Maybe that's why. Maybe it's actually a really bad card for her, and that's why her threat level is so low. It's really difficult to speculate when you know nothing about her. Now, what we can see, Paige Tico, and Paige is, just says hero, right? After you drop a device, you may spend a charge to drop an additional device, which is awesome. We don't know how much charge she has, but usually pilots that have charge built into them, usually it's only 1. But that's a great card. We don't know what she's going to cost, and that's really what it boils down to. She could have a recurring charge. If she does, she'll be very expensive. I'm almost certain, because that's crazy. But more than likely, it'd probably just be 1 charge. We're getting Morna Key in the Decimator. Now, as an Armada player, I have seen Morna Key in Armada, and she's amazing in a Decimator in that game. All we can see here is that she's Imperial. She's a determined attaché, looks like. And during the end phase, you may flip one of your and something full arc. So there's a couple of things. If I was going to guess based on what she does in Armada, so she has defense token. She has 1 defense token, and she can spend it to re-roll attack dice. So her ability in Armada lets her spend stuff to re-roll dice, and then also she'll get her defense token back. Like, she regenerates defense. So if there's going to be any correlation there, if she's flipping stuff, I'm guessing she's flipping maybe a face-up damage card to be face down. If she's like naturally healing herself, kind of like how she's harder to kill in Armada, I could see her doing something like that. Or maybe it's, you know, maybe it's something totally different. It might even correspond to the arc. It looks like she's getting attacked from behind in the art, and maybe you're flipping a damage card face up in order to do an extra attack in the end phase, because why else would it be in the end phase, right? So maybe you're getting to do somebody who's in your full arc, maybe full arc, they have to be completely in your rear arc, like they can't be partially in front of you, like, you know, I don't know. I don't know for sure, but that would be kind of cool if she got an extra attack in the end phase. That would be a really, really nice thing to make, you know, a Decimator that can attack twice. I'll take it. But that's just me guessing. We could see Captain Phasma there at Initiative 4, and Leia Organa in the Falcon at Initiative 5, which is really cool. So I didn't know Leia was that good of a pilot, but I guess I guess she's awesome. So so here is basically a full list of everything we're getting. We're getting Gina Moonsong in the BWing, K2SO, Leia Organa in the YT-1300, and we're getting Agent Kallus in the VCX 100. Now, this is getting Kallus as a rebel has been very exciting, because that means, you know, Kallus was a fan favorite for sure. For the Empire, we're getting the Fifth Brother and Vagabond in a Striker and Morna Key. So only 3 pilots for the Empire. Fifth Brother in a TIE Advanced V1, so not the X1, which is my preferred ship, but in the V1. For Scum, we're getting Nom Lum in a Jumpmaster, Gargor VM, or G4R, GOR, I don't know if that's supposed to be Gargor, in an M3A Interceptor. And of all ships, really an Interceptor, and then Bosk in the Z95. Now, the Bosk card is also coming in the new YV666, in the new Houndstooth expansion. So that one is really just being put in here for people that don't want to go buy a Houndstooth. And for the Resistance, you're getting Paige Tico. We already looked at her. She looks pretty good. Ronith Balerio in an RZ-2 A-Wing, and ZZ Tlo in an RZ-2 A-Wing. So no new X-Wings. Sorry, Resistance, and no Resistance transports, and no new Falcon pilots for the Resistance either. And then for the First Order, we are getting Captain Phasma in a TIE SF. We're also getting Lieutenant LeHughes in a TIE SF, and we're getting Rush, who in a TIE VN Silencer. So those are all of our pilots. Now, I was able to get a look at the back of this box because there was a little bit of a preview. Doesn't tell us very much, but when I was at Gen Con, I was able to... Oh, and we're getting a whole bunch of other upgrades too. So before I jump into the back of the box, we got a whole bunch of other upgrades here. And a lot of this is stuff that maybe have only been available in one option. I know some people really complained, like Maul, for example, for crew upgrades. Maul was one of those things that was one of the first things that were complained about. Well, Maul, wants to be with Ezra, but you can only get him on the dark side, and you can only get Ezra on the light side. So, like, you're going to have to buy multiple factions, and they swore you wouldn't have to do that. So they're like, all right, fine, here's Maul. Moldy Crow, same thing. 000, same thing. So a lot of that stuff is, the things that they're doing right, that they're fixing, which is good. Also, some of the brand new stuff too, like Coaxium Hyperfuel, was just in a recent preview. So we're going to be getting a lot of that new stuff, and we're getting 2 copies of the new BWing S-foils, or I'm assuming it's a BWing S-foil. For all we know, it could be an S-foil that can go in just about any ship, and maybe it's like BWing or X-wing only. I'm guessing it's going to be BWing only, because obviously it'd probably be balanced for the BWing. But wouldn't that be something if they came up with a new type of S-foil card that that could work on multiple ships, T-70, T-65, or B-wing. Boom, generic S-foils, right? Like I don't know. Like, what if they did something like that? I doubt they'll do that, but that is pretty cool. So. Now I did not remember to take a good photo. Gen Con was very, very busy for me, but I got some like a look at this from behind the case, and it was hard because this was placed in such a way that there was a lot of glare when you were trying, because it was really far in the case. And this is taken from my live stream on, I think, the final day of Gen Con. It's somewhere in the middle of the video if you want to watch the actual video. But you know, we can see some of the other pilots. We can see Bosk right there in the middle. Well, he's already been spoiled. We can see a fifth brother does something by spending force, but it's hard to see. And it looks like it's Leia on the far left. And we can zoom in a little bit more. This is about the closest zoom in I could see. We can see a little bit about Captain Phasma. It's a little too blurry for me to see totally right here. For me to read with a lot of clearly. The fifth brother, though, it looks like he's got something where he's going to spend 2 force, so he will probably have at least 2 force. Leia also has something with force, so Leia should have the force, you know, and that's, you know, basically all we really know. Something about rolling, a red. It looks like a red, so maybe some kind of red action. Maybe it's either a roll or a red, you know, for Leia, but probably it probably has something to do with maneuverability, and she can use the force to, you know. But yeah, so like again, this was taken from one of my videos. I tried to do a screen capture at the best points that I could, but it was hard to get. So I'm sure we'll see more of this. They're going to preview all of these, but you know, let me know what you guys think in the comments below. What do you think of Leia's abilities? And if you want to check out my actual live stream, you might be able to get a little bit better look at this. I'll put a link to that up there at the end of the video. But that is it for these packs, guys. It's a very good thing to get card packs. I would also like to hear from you guys. What other games do you want to see card packs in? And what more do you want to see from card packs? I know Legion has a card pack that's coming out, but I don't think this will be the end. I don't think this will be the last card packs that X-Wing does either, because I'm pretty sure they will continue to start putting, you know, an upgrade, whatever, you know, the next wave of X-Wing is that hasn't even been announced yet. You know, I'm sure we'll start to see stuff that's unique to here and unique to here and unique to here, and then they have to come out with another card pack. And that's just an opportunity for them to have extra cycles and waves of additional card packs. And honestly, I don't see a terrible problem with that. They're cheap, they're accessible, and the fact that there's no plastic in here means they can probably get them printed and shipped out very, very quickly. Definitely hoping Armada does something like this, because Armada is one of the worst offenders. Every single ship has things that are unique to it, and it's just, it becomes really, really difficult to get a lot of certain types of upgrades that are really, really desirable, and you know, it becomes rough. So, alright guys, that's all I've got for you today. Let me know what you think down in the comments below, and I will talk to you guys later. Thank you guys so much for watching, and as always, have a great day.